Hello and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be reacting to Chris Billam-Smith versus Richard Riakporhe. Happened at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace on Saturday night. Ultimately, Chris Billam-Smith came out with a unanimous decision win over Richard Riakporhe. The cards were a lot closer than the fight actually played out. Happened to be on, first look from when we were looking from the outside and in. A great fight. It was going to be, a really good clash of styles. Obviously, they fought 5 years ago, and both had improved since then. Was the outset and what we're looking at, but realistically, never really caught fire. Billam-Smith fought a very, very smart fight. He says in his post-fight interview, Shane McGuigan is, the best coach in the world. It's very hard to argue. Shane McGuigan is a fantastic boxing coach. He got the game plan down to a T. I got it wrong. I picked Riakporhe to win. Probably read a little bit too much into Chris Billam-Smith's performance against Masternak last time out, where he's getting hit very, very easily. McGuigan said himself that Billam-Smith didn't follow the game plan in that fight, followed it to an absolute T on Saturday night against Richard Riakporhe. I think in hindsight, looking at Riakporhe, Billam-Smith's been in with better opposition since they fought. He's been involved in bigger fights. He's been more active. The signs were probably there. Chris Billam-Smith headline a stadium show against Lawrence Okolie. He's had the brighter lights. He's had the pressure of being world champion. Riakporhe, you could probably give him a couple, 3 rounds at absolute max. Had a decent round. I think it was, towards the end of the fight, round 10 off the top of my head. It looked like he might have buzzed Billam-Smith a little bit, but, it was really comfortable for Chris Billam-Smith. I'm sure they'll go back to the drawing board, Angel Hernandez and Riakporhe. But, he's 34 years old. You don't get these opportunities for a world title all the time. He's lost his undefeated record. It's back to the drawing board, really. But, yeah, Chris Billam-Smith, let's give him the credit. He doesn't, talk a lot. He's nicknamed the gentleman. That's exactly what he is. Just lets his fists do the talking. There's nothing flashy about his style. He's just got good basics, good fundamentals. Just does everything the right way. It's hard not to be happy for Chris Billam-Smith here in this situation. It's going to be interesting to see what he does next, because he's fought most of the domestic cruiserweights now, albeit in world title fights. But what do you do next with Chris Billam-Smith? The options they were talking about in the ring, they didn't mention Jai Opetaia's name too much. They seem to be leaning towards Billam-Smith's dream since he was a kid has been to fight in America. So Zurdo Ramirez was the option they were talking about. It's going to be interesting. I think Turkey is going to have plans for Jai Opetaia. He seems to be fighting on the Saudi cards, and obviously Eddie and Matchroom. So I don't see the Opetaia Billam-Smith unification coming next. I think that Opetaia maybe try and fight Zurdo Ramirez himself. I don't know. But yeah, it's hard to see where Billam-Smith fits into that. But he is probably, going to be looking to unify the belts now. He's had two very good domestic wins, Richard Riakporhe and Lawrence Okolie. Underdog in both of those fights. So, probably does deserve to go on and get a big international fight against a big international name now. I'd like to see him do it. As I said, great guy, doesn't talk anything, doesn't try and get in his opponent's head, just solid fundamentals, does everything the right way, very good team behind him, with Shane McGuigan, one of the best trainers in the world. I'm excited to see what is next for Chris Billam-Smith. He's very underrated. Hopefully he's going to start getting the credit that he deserves now. I'm going to find it hard to pick against him because I keep picking against him and he keeps winning. So that's always a good sign. But yes, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think should be next for Chris Billam-Smith, and also what you think should be next for Richard Riakporhe. I don't know if he's going to drop a level or, because it just looked like the occasion at Crystal Palace got to him, fighting at home for the world title. He just didn't look himself in there. But, when you're fighting a level below and you get to the big time and you're not used to the pressure, you're not used to, that kind of thing, maybe it's, a lot easier said than done to get the performance. But, Billam-Smith was suffocating him. He wasn't allowing him to get his shots off, really. And, just nailed the game plan to a T. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think should be next for both guys. And as always, thank you for watching.